Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my Folk of the Air reading vlog. So, I have decided that I'm going to vlog my reading experience with the Folk of the Air series by Holly Black. This is such a popular book series. I feel like I am the last person on earth, definitely on BookTube, I feel like, to have read this series, and since I am such a fantasy lover, it is only right that I pick up this series. As it is, I feel like kind of a YouTube darling. So the Folk of the Air series is comprised of The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and The Queen of Nothing. This series has been on my TBR for a very long time. I feel like I bought the series like a year and a half ago or something like that, and I've been staring at it on my shelves. It's just one of those series that has so much hype and so much buzz that I'm almost nervous to read it. You know what I mean? Like, I see so many people love it. I've seen actually a lot of people really dislike it. So I really didn't know how I was going to feel going into it. So I was kind of scared, but I put it on my March TBR because I just wanted to get through the series and see what I thought. So I'm going to vlog my reading experience of all three books over the next few days. These books are quite short. Before I bought them, I thought that they were like 500 to 600 page books, but I was pleasantly surprised that I don't think any of the books are over 400 pages. So that is great for me. I should be able to get through them very quickly. I am already actually halfway through The Cruel Prince. I started reading The Cruel Prince yesterday, just like on a whim, and I had no plans to vlog it, but I was enjoying it so much, which I am very happy to report, that I was like, you know what, I want to vlog my reading experience with the rest of the books and see where this goes, because I don't really know where the plot is going to go, and I'm excited to see, and I just want to vlog my reactions and everything. This vlog is going to be not like full spoilers, but not fully not spoilers, just because I feel like this is such a popular series, so many people have already read it. I'm not gonna give like a deep descriptive breakdown of like every single plot twist, but I do want to be able to talk about it freely, and just because this series has been published for a while, there may be some spoilers. So just putting that out there, and I don't think I'm going necessarily mark when I talk about spoilers. If you really do not want to be spoiled for the Folk of the Air series, I'm just going to tell you right now, probably skip this video. I'll catch you on the next one, just because I want to be able to talk about it freely since it's been out for such a long time. So if you don't know what the series is about, we follow our main character Jude. She is a human, she has a twin sister, and then she has an older sister who is half fae. They end up being raised in a fairy world due to some extenuating circumstances. They have a really tough time in this fairy world because notoriously fae do not like humans. So Jude and her twin sister do have a really rough time growing up. They deal with a lot of bullying by the other fae children, particularly by the youngest of the royal family, Prince Cardan. Cardan and his friends go out of their way to be absolute assholes to Jude and her sister Taryn, and we sort of follow Jude's journey as she has grown up a little bit. A lot of people expect Jude and her sister to just like to marry a fairy and just sort of live that like stay-at-home mom to fairy children life. Jude does not want to do that. She wants to be a member of the royal guard. She ends up actually being hired to be a spy for a member of the royal family, and we kind of just follow her journey through there. That's as far as I am in the series so far, but I think we're going to see a lot of character development from Jude and her experience integrating into the fairy world a bit more. Since I started this yesterday, I'm about halfway through, and I am absolutely loving it. This book is so good. Oh my gosh. I've seen some people have negative reviews of it, but I just think that you kind of have to know what you're going into with this series. This is not romance fantasy. I have seen a lot of people say that it's this like From Blood and Ash, ACOTAR like type of series. It's definitely not. I would say it's like fantasy first, political fantasy, and then the romance is sort of a subplot, but I'm really enjoying it because I do think that we are getting enough romance between Jude and Cardan. Spoiler there for you. I think this is going to be like an enemies to lovers situation between Prince Cardan and Jude because he hates her, but he doesn't really hate her. But I will say Holly Black does a great job at making them pure enemies at first because Cardan and his friends literally throw Jude into a river. So it's not good. It's not good. And if Cardan was a real person, he would be in jail. This is fantasy. So we're having a good time and it's all good. This series is so like whimsical, which is like kind of a funny word, but it is so fantastical and whimsical, and it's an interesting world, but the world building and the magic system isn't too complicated that you're like, oh my god, I don't understand what's going on. I don't feel like there's been a ton of info dumping. I think Holly Black is doing a really good job of like slowly introducing us to the world while keeping it interesting. I love Cardan so much. I know that he like sucks, but the thing is, as I've said, they are living in a land of fairies, so it's all fae. And the actual lore with fae that so many authors pull from is that fae are very mischievous and tricky and kind of mean and dislike humans. And I think that's why so many authors who write romance fantasy make the morally gray love interest fae, because they can kind of get away with like doing bad things, because that's the lore with fae. They're not, you know, moral in the way that humans are. They're definitely a little evil. I'm really enjoying Jude as a main character so far too. I feel like with YA fantasy female main characters, we can go like one of two ways. She can be like normal and fun and cool and badass, and that is definitely what Jude is to me, or we can do the like not like other girls situation and kind of annoying. Jude is definitely not that, which I'm liking so far. I hope that does not change, but I really like her. And then Cardan, I just love Cardan. I know I've already said it, but I really love Cardan. Kind of imagining him, he's sort of described as like Timothy Chalamet-esque, like tall, very thin, like really intense cheekbones. He wears eyeliner, he wears a lot of rings and jewelry, so I really like that. He's not like our typical like, oh my god, such a big and tall alpha male, but I enjoy that just because it's interesting to shake it up a little bit with our love interest. So I do like that a lot. So I will be checking in throughout my reading experience with The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and The Queen of Nothing. I really want to finish this series in like a couple days. I really think that I can do it. It goes by very quickly, and as I said, the books are so short. So I'm going to keep reading The Cruel Prince, and then I will check in with you guys in a little bit. Okay, so I just wanted to do like a really quick check-in. I am on page 213, which is chapter 19. I'm only maybe like 30 or 40 pages past where I was when I started this video, but so much has happened. Oh my god. First of all, Jude tries to save a human servant girl who is under the spell of the Fae, and she like gets her out of the spell and tries to get her away from the royal family's house and get her back to the mortal world. And once the girl like comes to and realizes what's happening, she unalives herself because she's so mortified at like what she's seen in the Fae world. That was intense. I was not expecting that. It got dark really fast. She literally puts a bunch of rocks into her dress, and then they're flying over the ocean on these like magical horses, and she just tips herself over. That was, wow, that was really dark and really, really sad. And I felt so bad for Jude in that moment because she was trying to do something really nice and like help her, but realized that maybe like that's just not her place and it's way too complex for that. Also, I didn't mention this earlier, but one of Prince Cardan's friends, Valerian, hates Jude like the most, I feel like, of everyone. And he has like, he tried to get her to like jump off a tower, and he's always been really, really mean to her. He just snuck into her room in a drunken stupor, tried to kill her, and she killed him. Like she actually murdered him. She, oh my god, she murdered him, and then she wrapped him up in like a coat and shoved him under her bed because she's like, well, I don't know what to do, but I have to go do training, so I'm just gonna wrap him up, shove him under my bed like a freaking serial killer. That was so shocking. She killed one of Cardan's best friends. I mean, I think that low-key Cardan doesn't actually like Valerian. Valerian is just like a true actual bully who like brings nothing positive to the story. But oh my god, she just like, he was on top of her and then she stabbed him and then rolled him up in a coat and shoved him under her bed. That's so brutal. Oh my god. And then I'm so excited. So all of the women in Jude's family got dresses made for the coronation ball that's going to happen, because one Cardan's brothers is about to be made the king because their father is stepping down. Prince Dane is now going to be named the High King, and so they all got dresses made to attend the event. They all had custom dresses made. They had a seamstress come, they picked out fabric, all of that, whatever. And so the dresses come, and Jude's dress is a dress that she did not design and not pick out, but it's like way more beautiful and amazing than like she could have ever hoped for. And she's like, this isn't my dress, like I didn't pick this out, I don't know what to do. And basically her whole family is just like, yeah, like it's not your dress, but hey, it has your name on it, so just wear it. Like it's beautiful. It's way prettier than the one that you had picked out. And so I feel like maybe Cardan did that, which I'm loving. I love that theory so much, that Cardan somehow was able to intercept the seamstress and got Jude an even better dress. I almost wonder if it's going to match what he's wearing. That might be too on the nose. I feel like he's kind of obsessed with her, because also earlier in the book, when Jude is like sneaking around the royal family's house, she finds a note in Cardan's room, I think in a book, and it's her name written over and over and over again, like really strong. She says that she notices that like the paper is like punctured because he wrote her name so many times, and she thinks it's because he hates her. But I'm like, girl, come on, it's because he's obsessed with you. He's in love with you, and he hates that he's in love with you, so he writes your name a lot and damages the paper because he's working through his feelings like the toxic boy that he is. I love this book so much. Also, look at, these are not like special editions either, but look at like the beautiful little embossing here. This is so cute. I love this book so much. I'm having a really good time. I'm literally only like 60% of the way done. I truly don't know what direction we're gonna go. Like, I don't know if Prince Dane, who is set to become king now, is actually going to become king. Oh, also, there's a guy named Locke. He is Fae, and he's one of Cardan's friends, and he was originally kind of like in the group that bullied Jude, but lately he's like been really nice to her, and they've actually been kind of like, you know, kissing and hanging out and like kind of together. I don't trust him. I feel like he has something up his sleeve. Like he knows something, or he's trying to use Jude for something. I don't think that Locke and Jude are going, I mean, obviously I don't think Locke and Jude are going to be successful because I have seen the fan art for the Cruel Prince. So I know how the story ends, but I don't know how we're going to get there. But Locke is very interesting. And then like his mom, that whole situation. So the High King probably sired Locke, but Locke is not a part of the royal family, which is interesting. I don't really know how that works because there's like 6 siblings of Cardans who are the royal family, like next in line. But then we've kind of learned that Locke's mother was a consort to the High King, and probably the king is Locke's dad. He is not a part of the royal family. I don't know. Maybe that's not what happened. That's kind of what Oriana, who is Jude's stepmom, alluded to, but I don't know. Maybe we'll learn more. But as of right now, if the High King is Locke's dad, I'm like, why is he not part of the royal family? Because I think almost all of the Greenbriar children, Cardan and his siblings, I think they all have different moms because they're all like different creatures and stuff. Like Cardan has a tail, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. Cardan has a tail. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's like a long tail, and they said something about it has like a duster, like a fluffer duster at the end. So I'm imagining kind of like a lion's tail. That'll be interesting. See, is there any sex in this book series? Because the tail, I hear people talk about the tail and they're like, the tail. So I feel like there is some, I don't know. Is there a weird scene with his tail? I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I'm going to feel about a sex scene with the tail. I don't feel like there's going to be like a sex scene in this book series because it is YA, but like, yeah, the tail. I'm very interested to see where that goes. But anyway, I'm absolutely loving the story. I can't wait to see where it goes. I usually can predict YA fantasy series pretty well, and I really don't know where this is going to go. Like, I have ideas, but I'm not like 100% set on one particular thread of theories yet. So I'm going to keep reading. I may check in with you guys before I finish, or I'm just going to check in after I finish this book, let you know my thoughts, my rating, and then I'm going to immediately move on to The Wicked King, which is the second book. But I'm loving this so much. I'm having such a good time, and Jude is a bad bitch. Jude is a queen, kind of creepy, murderous queen, but I love her so much. Doing another check-in. We're just doing all the check-ins of this vlog on my bed. Hope you guys are cool with that. So I have a couple updates. I finished The Cruel Prince. Oh my god, it was so good, so twisty. The ending was insane. Like, I'm blown away by this book. Originally when I finished it, I did give it a 5-star, but I think I was just like on the high of finishing the book and really enjoying it, and I decided to lower my rating to 4-star. The reason being, I just think I'm going to love The Wicked King and The Queen of Nothing, which are the second and third book in this trilogy. And so I feel like if I give this book 5 stars and then I potentially give the other books 5 stars, I don't necessarily know that that is a good way to rate all of the books in this series. I just think I'm going to love the second and third book even more. And while I did love this because of some of the like setup and world building and just like being the first book in the series, it's usually not like the best one in the series. I don't know. I just kind of want to save room to give the other books 5 stars. So this one is a 4, like 4.5 for now, but I still really loved it. It's a super, super strong 4-star. So I feel like in the last clip that I was talking to you guys, I made all these predictions and assumptions, and like I think a lot of them were wrong. So Locke was not in fact the like extra son of the High King, the other royal bloodline. It was actually Jude's little brother Oak, who we learn is not actually the child of her adopted dad and stepmom. Oak is actually the son of the High King and then Oak's brother. So they share a mom who is now dead. So that's like, it's so complicated. There's so much going on in this book. Oh my god. This book is just so like heavy on the plot, which I'm loving, but like just know that going in, it's a very heavy on the plot book, which I didn't expect. I feel like a lot of the books that I read and I enjoy are really character driven, and this, I think it has a pretty good balance. I absolutely loved the development of Jude and Cardan's relationship in this book. They went from total enemies to like kind of calling a truce, you know, for the name of like political crown, you know, getting what they both want type of things, to kissing. They did kiss in this book, but they really did it only because like it's more of a thing of neither of them have admitted that like they have feelings for each other. It's just like we're attracted to each other, but like we kind of hate each other, but we need to use each other for political gain. So they did kiss in this book, which was really exciting. But then the plot twist at the end, Jude kind of fucked that whole thing up. So now, I mean, I think that Cardan still is like enamored with Jude, but there's definitely like a separation now because she sort of betrayed him. But yeah, their dynamic has just been super interesting to watch and see where it goes. And the plot twist at the end, actually, like my jaw dropped. I feel like usually I'm pretty good at guessing plot twists, especially in like a YA situation, but I'm kind of just like not allowing myself to like think too hard about potential plot twists and just like read the book and enjoy it. And I was so surprised by the ending, and it was so cool. Jude is such a badass. Like she is probably going to be one of my favorite female main characters moving forward because she's such a like strong person, even though she's been through so much terrible shit, and like the odds are just constantly stacked against her. She lives in a world where she is like the lowest of the low, and now she ends the book being at like the top and basically being in control of Cardan as he takes over as the king. Great book. I absolutely loved it. I love Holly Black's writing style. I love the lore in this book. I love the dynamics and just how things are changing, and I think it's really setting up the next few books to be interesting. One thing I was correct about though is Locke is trash, and he and Jude's twin sister Taryn are getting married, and he basically was like messing around with Jude to test Taryn's love, and like that whole thing was just gross, and I'm just, Locke sucks. I hope that he has a swift ending somewhere in this series because he's not fun to read about. I hate him, and he's like super manipulative and gross. So yeah, I thought that this was such a good start to the series. I'm super excited to continue on with it, and I have read a little bit of The Wicked King, so let me tell you guys my thoughts on that. Okay, so with The Wicked King, this is the second book in the series. We are following Jude and Cardan as Cardan has been tricked by Jude to becoming the king of Elfame, while her younger brother Oak goes and lives in the mortal worlds and like has a childhood, and Cardan is basically just going to be a placeholder. She has also convinced him to get into like this agreement, magical binding agreement with him, that she can basically tell him what to do for a year and a day. And after that year and a day is done, he'll be completely free, like from her, you know, mental, psychological grip, and he can do whatever he wants. And Jude is trying to figure out how she's going to stay in power, one, because she wants Cardan to stay king until her brother comes back, but also because Jude has gotten a little taste of power and now she really likes it, which I'm so loving that. The series started off with Jude, like she wasn't weak, but she wasn't like really interested in being involved with like the royalty or anything like that. Like she wanted to be a guard, but she wanted to be like removed from it and protected, but now she wants to be in charge of the whole damn thing, and she is playing puppet master with Cardan, and I am here for it. I am loving that development for her. It's so fun to read about. I am just like so sad that Jude and Cardan aren't like together already. I'm like, come on, let's go. Let's get to the romance. I need to see something happen. There's definitely like tension between them, but Cardan, I feel like, is such a flirtatious person with literally anyone. It doesn't matter who it is. And so I'm not really like feeling like that extra special pull from his side, but we are in Jude's mind, and she's definitely like, oh, I'm attracted to him, but like I don't want to think about that. And then like every time Jude mentions that like, oh yeah, Cardan had like courtiers over last night, and or she walks into his room and there's like men and women like all in his bed with him, I'm like, no, come on, I want you guys to be together so so bad. So I'm wondering, like, are they gonna end up in a full-blown relationship at the end of this series? Like, I'm so confused because Cardan is such an interesting character. And I'm like, is he even, I don't know. I mean, I imagine that yes, they are going to end up like together and maybe be like the king and the queen of Elfame. I don't know. But I'm just like having doubts now because I'm like, he just does not seem like, I just want him to be in love with her and he's not. So I have very little patience. I'm about a third of the way through this book and I am planning to finish this whole thing today. Today is Tuesday and this book is only like 310 pages, I want to say. Something like that. Yeah, just over 300 pages. So there is no reason that I can't finish this in a day and I am so desperate to find out what happens. I need Jude and Cardan's relationship to progress. I know I said this is definitely like, it's fantasy, it's not a romance, but like there is that romance aspect happening and it's so good and the dynamic between Jude and Cardan is just so like, oh, I love reading about it. So I just need to finish this book and like see where things go. The plot is like all over the place. There's like 50 new plot lines now. I just need to know. I just need to know the status of their relationship because I want them to be together. Anyway, I'm going to keep reading. I'll probably check in with you guys honestly when I'm finished, unless something crazy happens and I want to talk about it. But if not, I will check in with you guys when I finish The Wicked King and before I start The Queen of Nothing. Okay, I have finished The Wicked King, second book in the Folk of the Air series. I love this series so much. If you can't tell, this was a 5 out of 5. This was a 5-star book. It was incredible. I don't even know where to begin. I read this book in one day yesterday. I finished it at like 11:58 p.m. last night and I had so much fun. This series is just so incredible. So much happened in this book. The first book was a great setup. A lot happened in that book as well, but this book really just like took off and we went in so many different directions. There was so much character development. There was so much like, I don't even know. I just love this book so much. Cardan is the best and the worst. I'm not gonna do like a full like synopsis of the book or anything like that. This will be like a little bit spoilery. I just so enjoyed seeing Jude's progression in this book. She really like went through it, went on a journey. Her character changed a lot. Jude became like that bitch, you know, like she literally was like the puppet master of the High King of Elfame and was essentially running the land herself. It was amazing to see. She took it so well. She took it in stride. It was incredible. She was so cunning. Like I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed by her. And I feel like her development was very natural. It wasn't like this all of a sudden she was this meek young girl getting bullied and basically like abused by the fairies and now she's in charge of all of them like overnight. It was a good progression. I love the way Holly Black did that. Cardan's character, his character development was super interesting in this book as well. He's still dramatic. He's still very much Cardan, but we got a lot of his backstory. He kind of explained why he's the way he is, and that was really nice and endearing, and I enjoyed seeing that. Jude and Cardan's relationship, it was all over the place in this book in like the best way. I have never like responded so well to a couple like coming together and breaking apart. I just feel like Holly Black is doing a really good job with it because it all seems very justified. None of it is like super convoluted. Like I think they're the most like reluctant enemies to lovers I've ever read about, and it was great. We did get like a little scene, a little romance scene. It wasn't like spicy at all. They like did some stuff. I don't even know. It was very like nondescript. The tail was involved. That was interesting. I keep forgetting he has a tail, and then anytime it's mentioned, I'm just like, oh god, it's a bad visual. I don't understand the like where it is, I'm probably gonna look up fan art once I finish it and just kind of figure out what the tale is, because I'm a little bit confused by that. There were really, really cute moments between them in this book. I loved seeing them come together, and then like after they would get together, they would just be like, oh my god, like I can't believe we did that. Like we can never do this again, and like secretly kind of hating each other. Oh my god, it was so, so good. There's a lot of tension, which I feel like tension can sometimes even be better than just like full out spicy smut scenes. Like, don't get me wrong, those have their place. I just love the like sexual tension between these two. It's making the reading experience really, really fun, and like I just want to get through the book so fast. We ended on a big cliffhanger with this book. Spoilers for the end of this book if you don't want to know. At the end of this book, Cardan asks Jude to take the magical spell or whatever that she has where she can command him to do anything. He says, hey, like, you know, you have to trust me now. Can you please take this off of me, because like I just want to do my thing, and like you can trust me. And she says okay. He also asks her to marry him, so she will be the High Queen of Elfame, and that's kind of the bargain, where she's not going to be in charge of him anymore, but now she will be on the throne as well, so like she can keep the seat until her younger brother is ready to take over. So it all kind of works out, right? Like it was ending a little bit too peachy keen. So that happened. They got married, they exchanged vows, they did all of that, and there were still like 10 or 15 pages left in the book, and I was like, okay, things are ending a little bit too cute. At the very end, Cardan finds out that Jude killed his brother, Balakin, I believe it's pronounced. And everyone is calling for like Jude to have to, she needs to serve some type of sentence, or she needs to, something has to happen to her to like make it equal. And he banishes her to the mortal world and says she cannot come back until he says, and he's basically like, peace out, bitch. So we end with like them being at odds again, and she's so mad at him. And she's so pissed, so now they're like completely destroyed again. Normally I would hate that like a couple that I love keeps like breaking apart, but it's weaved so well within the plot, and I just know like when Jude comes back to Elfame, because I know she'll come back obviously in the next book, I can't wait to see how their dynamic is going to be. And I really want to know like what is Cardan's reasoning for why he sent her away, because I know that there's going to be some like hidden motive. Part of me is like, is it because he wants to like protect her or something, which like I kind of hate that trope when a character will like do something for a character that they don't want done, but they're like doing it to protect you. I hate that trope, so I really hope it's not that. I hope Cardan isn't like, I want you to be safe, you don't belong here, so I'm sending you to the mortal world. I don't think he would have married her if that were the case. I feel like because they are actually married, like through the fairy magical bonds, they are married, he knows that she's going to come back, and I feel like he has a plan. I don't know what it is. I'm very curious to see, because Jude has kind of been controlling sort of the narrative and the story and all of the little missions that they've gone on and things that they've done. I'm excited to see Cardan kind of be like, I have a plan, let me act it out. At least I hope. I love the like morally grayness of Cardan's character. He truly, truly is like not 100% good and not 100% bad, and I don't think that he's ever going to be like perfect in the end, but it's super interesting to read about. Also in this book, Jude's twin sister Taryn betrays her. I knew, I could smell it, I swear. At the beginning of this book, as soon as we saw Taryn, I was like, something is up, something is going on here. I wonder if maybe Taryn is like under a spell or something like that, or like maybe Locke is making her do this and that's why she's betraying her sister. It feels weird, but part of me is like, okay, fuck Taryn, like we should just get rid of her. But then another part of me thinks that because it's her twin sister, Jude is going to like forgive her, or there's going to be some type of redemption arc in the last book for Taryn. But that was super interesting as well. So I'm going to start the last book in the series, The Queen of Nothing. I'm sad, honestly. I don't want the series to end, and the last book is the shortest book. It's only like 300 pages, I think exactly, or even like a little bit less, which is weird for a final book in a series. But I'm really sad. I'm loving this. I think I'm confident in saying this is my favorite YA fantasy series I have ever read. It is just so good. I'm going to read The Queen of Nothing. I do want to try to finish it like either today or tomorrow, even though I'm like sad. I want to get this vlog up this week, so I will definitely check in midway while I'm reading the book and let you guys know my thoughts. I love this book so much. I love the series so much, and Holly Black is that bitch. Okay, Hey guys, I just wanted to do one final check-in before I finish The Queen of Nothing. I'm about like 60% of the way done with the book. I'm so sad that it's ending. Once again, I love this series so much. I do honestly think it's my favorite YA fantasy series that I've ever read. The book has been so good so far. It has been so action-packed. We didn't get as much Jude and Cardan in the first half of the book as I wish that we could have, but they are starting to come back together again, so that is good. In the first part of the book, we see Jude and she has been banished to the mortal world by Cardan. She ends up going back to Elfame because she is impersonating her sister Taryn. Taryn comes to her, tells her one, that she's like sorry for working with Maddox against her, and she was kind of just coerced by Locke and her father to do that. Locke is dead. Taryn has murdered him, and Taryn is also pregnant with Locke's child. She is going to be kind of like not put on trial, but has an inquiry against her because Locke was a very important person and he's now dead. And so they want to interview her, and because she is mortal, they can put a spell on her, but Jude has like this special thing where she can't be put under magical spells by Fae. So they decide to pull the old switcheroo, pull a little Parent Trap situation, swap places. Jude pretends to be Taryn, goes back to Elfame, imitates her. That whole situation seems to be resolved. Cardan immediately realizes that it is Jude because he is in love with her. She also finds out that she could have come back to Elfame at any time because at the end of The Wicked King, Cardan banished Jude to the mortal world until the crown says that you can come back. But he married Jude before he said that, which means that she is the crown. She's a part of the crown. So he told her, like, you could have come back at any time. I said that just for like appearances, but I thought that you knew that like that was a riddle and you're a part of the crown, so you literally could have come back at any time. And apparently he's been writing her letters the whole time, which she did not receive because someone intercepted them. I wonder if we're going to see the letters. I would love to see what those say. Cardan and Jude have become kind of like allies again. Jude still thinks that Cardan is only interested in her because of like, you know, the political alliance, and he likes her ruthlessness, and she's like, that's the only reason he likes me. And I'm like, babe, he's in love with you. Like, I see it, you need to see it. I feel like he's laying it on very thick. I'm just loving this book so much. I'm really like, I want to get to the end so bad to see how it ends, but I'm also so sad to be leaving this world and these characters. I am so curious how Miss Black is going to tie up everything because there are so many loose ends. There's just like so many different plot lines going on. I'm so curious to see what Maddox's like fate will be. Maddox, who was like their adopted dad, who by the way like almost killed Jude in the first half of this book. That was crazy. But yeah, what's gonna happen with Maddox and Oriana and Oak? And I'm also wondering, right now Jude is mortal, Cardan is not, and he will like live forever essentially, and she will not. And so I wonder if like at the end of this book she's gonna become Fae somehow. They haven't really talked about how like a human can turn into Fae. They haven't discussed that at all, but I'm like, okay, if they're gonna end up together, I feel like she needs to be made immortal. Otherwise, like she's gonna, it's like a Twilight situation. Bella was like, I'm gonna get old, Edward, and you're not gonna like me anymore, so you need to turn me. And I'm like, okay, we need a little bit of that in here because I can't imagine that she's gonna end up just staying human at the end of this book because I feel like she wants to be magical. She's like fully in on the world, fully in on the Fae. So she like, I think maybe there will be some way for her to become immortal. So I am going to go ahead and finish The Queen of Nothing, therefore finishing the Folk of the Air series. This has been so much fun. I will let you guys know my final thoughts, my overall rating of the whole series, and I hope it has a great ending. I feel like it will. I feel like we're gonna get a happily ever after. Also, we still haven't had any like, you know, spicy scenes or anything like that. I hope we get a little bit of something between Jude and Cardan because there hasn't really been like a love confession yet, so I kind of hope we get that with a little bit of spice. I don't know. We'll see. YA spice. Like, I know it's not going to be anything crazy. I just want to see these two together so bad because I love them so much. I will check in with you guys once I have finished The Queen of Nothing. I have finished The Queen of Nothing. Oh my god. 5 stars. If you couldn't tell, this is truly my favorite YA fantasy series of all time. We had such good character development, plot development, interesting people to read about. I know earlier I kind of said that the book is more plot driven and less like a character driven series, and that's true, but I also feel like Holly Black wrote really good characters anyway. Like, I was excited about them anyway, even though we had a lot of plot lines, we had a lot of plot twists, we had a lot of, this is a plot forward book, but like Jude and Cardan are such interesting characters anyway to read about. So I am in love with this series. Yeah. I finished this book and feel like so happy, but also feel like so sad that I can't read this for the first time ever again. I truly feel like this whole series is going to be a comfort series for me. I definitely want to reread this in the future. I have seen some people talk about how when they reread the series, it was really enjoyable because they could kind of focus more on the characters since they're not like wondering what the plot twists are going to be. So I absolutely recommend. Of course, as I said at the beginning of this video, I feel like I'm like the last person on the internet to have read this series, but if you have not and you are curious about it, I totally recommend. I give the whole series 5 stars. It was absolutely amazing. I'm so happy that I read the series. Jude and Cardan are one of my favorite romantic pairings that I have ever read about. I just love Jude and Cardan, their relationship, their character development. Things got really crazy at the end of The Queen of Nothing, but it was so well executed. I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about like what happens in this book as it is like the finale. I know I've given some spoilers away, but I'm kind of just gonna leave it at that. I loved how things ended. I just love kind of where everyone ended up at the end of this book. I would literally read so many more books about the Cruel Prince world. I truly feel like if this series was just like a little bit more adult, it would be the best series I have ever read. Like that is how much I love it. I still really enjoy it though, and it's YA fantasy and like that's totally cool. I just think that Holly Black should write an adult fae series. Alright guys, so that is going to be it for my Folk of the Air reading vlog. I hope that you enjoyed. If you have made it this far into the video, go ahead and comment the little fairy emoji down in the comments below, or let me know, have you read the Cruel Prince series? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Give me your thoughts. I would love to discuss Cardan and Jude more. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you guys in the next one.